Welcome one and all for joining today's demo session offered by TrioTech Software Trainings. This is a demo session to basically focus on Oracle Fusion SCM Cloud. I am your trainer Sujith Kumar, who has 12 plus years of experience in the ERP domain. I have worked across different ERP softwares like JD Edwards, Oracle E-Business Suite, and currently I'm working on Fusion projects. So I have got a real-time project experience and I worked with the different clients across the globe. So in the interest of time, let's directly move into the session and focus on what's being offered by TrioTech Software Trainings as part of Oracle Fusion SCM Cloud demo. See, the agenda for today's session is what we are going to see. One is introduction to ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. And subsequently, we will be focusing on how Oracle Fusion Applications software has evolved over the years and what is Fusion application. And then what are the differences between a Fusion, Oracle Fusion on-premise versus cloud, and how the environment releases are happening in Oracle Fusion. Then we will see the architecture and cloud deployment options, followed by what TrioTech Software Trainings is offering as part of Oracle SCM Cloud Training. What are the modules we cover in the course? And then finally, we will see what are the advantages we have if we go with TrioTech Software Trainings. So this is the agenda for today's demo session. Right now, I'm not sure about the people who joined here. Maybe some might have some ERP background experience, or some might have domain experience, or some of you might be coming from a different background or different business, not related to ERP. So we will just start with what is ERP and how the business operates in enterprise resource planning. As we see in this slide, ERP is an acronym which stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It's nothing but planning business process management via software that integrates a company's operations. If we take any company, usually they will have an HR division, a financials division, and supply chain division if they are operating on procurement and sales. And also they will be having other commerce and other activities. And if they are into manufacturing, they will have a manufacturing division. Now, as we see here on the right-hand side on this image, enterprise resource planning is nothing but a combination of all these divisions put together. For example, if we are working on a HR-based company, they will have human resources. So now if we talk about Oracle Fusion is offering human resources as a separate module. Similarly, if the company is having, assume that the company is operating and having all these modules or all these operations, they are operating based on these different operations. One is an human resource division, they have a finance division and supply chain division and a procurement division. Now, when it comes to supply chain, we refer it to a manufacturing industry. Okay. In case a company is having all these divisions, and if they want to go for an ERP, now what the ERP does is it tries to integrate all this and optimize and give them a cost-effective solution. So that is what we call as enterprise resource planning. Few people are joining, so let me try to admit them. Now let us focus on Oracle Fusion applications. Now, why we are focusing on Oracle Fusion applications? In the last few years, many companies are moving towards cloud operations, what we call as on cloud. Previously, before Fusion came, all the companies were operating on premise. We will just see in the later slides what is the difference between on cloud and on premise. So now Fusion, if we talk about Oracle Fusion, it's on cloud. So let us see what are the applications which are involved in Oracle Fusion. As we see in this example slide, Oracle Fusion applications can be described as one of the thing is built on open standards. So that is an advantage. For example, it involves Oracle SOA, a WebLogic server, JDeveloper. I will go into the details at later part, but now I just want to give an overall picture. OBI, it has a different open standards platform. So all these are built together on open standards platform. Next, coming to the benefit of Oracle Fusion is, before Oracle Fusion evolved, there were different products operated by different companies. For example, Oracle e-business suite that was operated by Oracle, whereas PeopleSoft, earlier it was a different separate entity offered by PeopleSoft. Similarly, we had JD Edwards, which was a separate entity, and Siebel. Now, what Oracle Fusion did is they acquired all these PeopleSoft, Siebel, JD Edwards, and few other like Hyperion. And what they did is to build the Oracle Fusion. They want to make Oracle Fusion the best in class and best in the standards in the industry. So essentially what they did is they took the best out of all these softwares. Oracle e-business suite is well known for financials. PeopleSoft, we know that it's for HRMS. JD Edwards is for manufacturing, and Siebel is for CRM. So what Oracle Fusion as a product did is they took all the best things from out of this product and they evolved and they built Oracle Fusion. So now why Oracle Fusion is famous in the market is because of this reason, that they are able to deliver the best of manufacturing, finance, HCM, and also SCM, supply chain modules. Now let us see on a high level how the deployment is happening. We have something called public cloud, private cloud, and on-premise and hybrid. Hybrid is nothing but a combination of both. Whereas on-premise is, as we were saying earlier, on-premise is nothing but before cloud came. All the companies want to install ERP or want to use ERP. They have to create the infrastructure. They have to buy the servers and they have to keep the servers in their building. On premise, that means within their premises, they used to build and operate. So they will have different set of people to maintain the servers and for applying the patches, those kind of things. That is called as on-premise. Now, since we are more into Oracle Fusion, which is operating on cloud basis. So as we see cloud, whenever we refer to cloud, what it is like, you can assume it as a subscription-based service. So now like how we have a prepaid mobile or we have a DTH connections. Whatever we want, we just pay for that particular subscription and then we make use of it. So like that now, Oracle Fusion, once they operate on cloud, they are also giving subscriptions. So it's not required to buy all the modules. The company can select specific modules based on the current business, and then they can subscribe only and pay only for those modules. And what we mean by cloud is, in this, when we talk about cloud, the infrastructure is maintained by the service provider. Now I'm using the term Oracle because we are concentrating on the Fusion product developed by Oracle. So here, the service provider, whenever we refer to the word service provider, we are talking about Oracle. So when we talk about cloud, when we refer to cloud, that means a company. Assume there is a company, ABC Corporation, and they are into multiple businesses and they are having HR divisions, SCM, and they are also doing a procurement and selling business, and they are operating on finances. That means once they decide to implement cloud, they have to buy the subscription from Oracle for the Fusion Cloud. Now the advantage of Fusion Cloud is the infrastructure is maintained by Oracle and all the server upgrades or any patches will be maintained by Oracle. So the company just need to pay as a subscription fee and then they can start using the Oracle Fusion product. So this is an overall picture of what is Fusion applications. Now in this slide, as we see here, I just explained how Oracle Fusion evolved. Oracle Fusion is nothing but they integrated the best of the class from different ERP products like eBusiness Suite, PeopleSoft Enterprise, JD Edwards. JD Edwards had two things. One is JD Edwards Enterprise, and the previous offering was JD Edwards World. And then Siebel is for CRM. So they integrated all this into one Oracle Fusion. As we see here, what is the benefit of integrating? PeopleSoft is strong in HRMS. Similarly, JD Edwards, they captured the customer market based on the strengths of procurement and financials. Siebel CRM was well known for CRM, customer relationship management. And Hyperion is one of the best in market reporting tool. And eBusiness Suite is well known for financials. So what Oracle did is they acquired all this and they built the Oracle Fusion. And this is how Oracle Fusion evolved. Just as I explained in the previous slide, what are the benefits or what are the differences between on-premise versus cloud? See, on-premises, the main differentiator between on-premises versus cloud is who is managing the infrastructure, who is maintaining the server, and who will be installing the patches. Now, whenever we talk about any software application, we know that the software gets released on a specific build or what we call as a release number. And since it's an ERP, that means it's a worldwide market. Many customers will be using an enterprise resource planning software. So when they start using this, either they want to have some new features, what we call as enhancements, or they might have foreseen some bugs during the testing for which we need fixes. Those we call it as patches. So now the difference between on-premise versus cloud is first who is maintaining the infrastructure. For on-premises, the company, for example, if ABC Corp is a company who's buying the server from Oracle. Now the company ABC Corp has to maintain the server. They have to have a different people like server maintenance people to maintain the servers and also for applying the patches. That means if in case of on-premise, everything is being done by the company. Whereas if you go for a cloud operations, the advantage is in cloud, the infrastructure is maintained by the service provider. That is, here we are talking about Oracle. The patching or any upgrade will be taken care by the service provider themselves. So what is the advantage of this? The company who is going for cloud-based ERP, they need not worry of the infrastructure, backup, patching utilities, nothing. Just they can access the Oracle Fusion Cloud once they get the subscription, and they can directly give the access to the people. But one difference is in both the cases, once we get the subscription, we cannot give directly the access to the users of that organization. For example, ABC Corp to readily use the software. Why? Because previously the company might have been using some legacy software. Now they have to migrate to one of this on-premise or cloud. That means what we have to do is there will be a separate people known as consulting companies. So those consulting companies will go through what are the requirements and what are the current operations being used by the company. Once they go through, they will do a gap analysis and they will try to map it. What are the business processes which can be mapped and which cannot be mapped? Once they have decided, a series of meetings go through between the client and the consulting people. Now the client means it's ABC Corporation, because ABC Corporation is going to implement a cloud ERP. So in this case, I'm getting some echo. May I request all of you to go on mute, please? So in this case, what will happen is once we get the subscription, there will be a separate entity called consulting company who will be going through the business operations and they will try to map it Once the mapping is done, once the system is ready, then the ABC Corporation can start using the Oracle Cloud Fusion software. Now, here, if we see, there are few terms related to SaaS and IaaS. Let me try to explain. See, this is just for knowledge purpose. Once we talk about Oracle Fusion implementation, what we are going to do is, sorry. So once we talk about Oracle Cloud deployment models, as we have been saying, on-premises versus cloud. Now in cloud, we have three different services offering. As we see here, IaaS, what we call as infrastructure as a service. And next is PaaS, platform as a service. And the third one is software as a service. Now, mostly our focus will be on SaaS, SaaS, software as a service. Now, if we see this particular slide, we have given some legend. Some are in green color and some are in orange color. What is the meaning of this? Now, as we have been saying, on-premise means everything is going to be managed by the company who's buying the software, ERP software. So here we can clearly see the applications, the data, the operating system, the servers, server maintenance, storage, and the networking, everything is going to be maintained by the company who bought the on-premise license. Now, if we talk about, I will just come back to IaaS and PaaS later, but our focus here is on SaaS. SaaS is the last column which I'm just highlighted here, where we see everything is orange. Now, since this is a cloud-based SaaS, what we are saying is once the company decides to implement Oracle Fusion Cloud, simply they will subscribe and pay for the specific modules, a subscription fee. That means whatever we are seeing here, applications, the data, runtime, middleware, operating system, the service maintenance, storage capacity, and the networking, everything will maintain by the service provider. In this case, service provider will be Oracle. So it will be like maintenance free, and we need not worry. In the long run, the advantage of SaaS is the cost will come down. Just to explain further, this is just for an understanding, because once we go into a real-time working, some people keep on using and they refer to SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Let me just give a small introduction on all of this. Now, SaaS, as we say, software as a service, is nothing but a web-based applications delivered by application service providers. Now, specifically, if we talk about Oracle, Oracle delivers an entire suite of business applications for enterprise resource planning. Like we have portfolio management, HCM human capital management, financial reporting, planning, budgeting, a customer service, and sales and marketing, and also sales and procurement. So Oracle is offering entire module through SaaS. Now, when we talk about SaaS as a web-based application, then what is IaaS and PaaS? Now, if we talk about PaaS, PaaS is nothing but a set of cloud services used to build and manage applications and data, either on-premise or in the cloud. Now, the important differentiation factor is, we can see here. Now, if a company prefers to apply for PaaS, platform as a service, that means the applications and data will be maintained by the company itself. That means what we are saying is some work like on-premise and some work like cloud. Here, as we clearly see the differentiation. In case if a company is going for PaaS on top of SaaS, that means here clearly the visibility is applications and data are maintained by the company. Why? Because some company, they don't want to give the data to the outside world. They want to protect their data. They want to make sure that the data is hosted by them and they are maintaining themselves the data. So the application data, if the company decides to operate by themselves, then they might have to go for an additional platform as a service license. However, this cannot operate individually. Whether it is PaaS or IaaS, the prerequisite is the company should have gone for SaaS, software as a service, and then they can decide what are the few of these parameters which they can operate or manage themselves. So the prerequisite or the mandatory thing is, if a company is going to implement Oracle Fusion Cloud, they have to buy a subscription fee for SaaS, software as a service. Now, as we see here, what is the advantage of PaaS? See, PaaS capabilities include innovative technologies. Like we know that now artificial intelligence is one of the most sought after technologies. And we have something like chatbots. Whenever we log into most of the applications, whether it's Android, mobile based, or even in the portal of through a normal insurance company, we always get some pop-up like chatbots. So those kind of artificial intelligence, chatbots, blockchain, and other innovative technologies are possible by PaaS. Okay, so this is the advantage of PaaS. Now IaaS. IaaS is nothing but, as the word says, infrastructure as a service. As we clearly see the demarcation in IaaS. Now the infrastructure is being managed by the company. As we see here, applications, data, runtime, middleware, even the operating system is managed by the company who's buying the software. Whereas only the servers, storage, and networking are maintained by the service provider, like Oracle. Now, infrastructure is a cloud computing service module in which computing resources are hosted in a public cloud, private cloud, or hybrid cloud. As we seen, one is a public cloud is like it can be accessed by anyone. Private cloud is private to the company, and hybrid means it's a combination of both. Means some will be available as a public entity, some will be available only on the private cloud. See why some businesses are going for IaaS model, because they want to shift some of their on-premises and not all of the on-premises. For example, there is a case, if we take a company ABC Corp who is operating on HCM, procurement, sales, and financials. However, assume a scenario where they want to maintain financials in the current legacy software, whereas they want to move the HCM part and the procurement and sales to the cloud. In that case, what they will do is they will go for a hybrid. Some they will maintain on-premise, and some they will go and utilize the cloud, private cloud. So that is the reason of going for a IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Don't get confused by all this terminology. For us, once we start our future sessions, our focus will be only on SaaS, software as a service. This just we are giving some insight so that whenever we come across these terminology, we should have a basic idea. What is the offering different services provided in Oracle Fusion Cloud? Now let's move on to the next slide. Now this is an important slide which is going to give an idea about what are the applications being offered or the modules being offered in Oracle Fusion. As we see here, this is not an exhaustive list. Oracle Fusion is offering a lot of modules, but our focus is on some of the core modules which we see in the industry, like financial management. We know that whenever any company wants to implement an ERP software, we used to say that it starts with finance and ends with finance, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to see how much the cost saving has happened by implementing a new ERP or a new Fusion software. And not only for implementing on the cost, whenever they do a business, finally what they are going to do is they are going to make a balance sheet of profit and loss. So everything is going to boil down to finance. So financial management is one of the first one. And not only that, even when we talk about the architecture, first we need to have the financial structure created in the system, like a ledger, legal entity. We will come to that in the later part when we go into the deeper sessions in the following weeks. So that is why financial management is always at the top. Just this is giving a brief of what are the modules in financial management: general ledger, accounts payable, asset management, payments and connections, accounts receivable, cash management. Just to give some idea, accounts payable, when we will need accounts payable, when a company is operating on procurement model, procure to pay. That means a company named ABC Corp. Now they are in the business and they want to buy some specific material from a supplier. In that case, they will issue a purchase order and the supplier will give the invoice. Now the invoice have to be created in this model, accounts payable, because once the invoice is created, payment has to be made to supplier. I'm just giving an example. Similarly, accounts receivable. This is being used whenever for a company is operating on a sales model. That means the company is selling some service or items. That means they will issue a sale order. The company will be selling the parts. That means the company will receive the order. What are the material required by a customer? Assume that we are a customer. I will take a small example. Like we are a customer, we want to buy a DTH. Now Airtel will be our sales company who will be selling their product to us. Now we are the customer to Airtel. So just like that example, if I take, now in that case, Airtel will be having accounts receivable through which they will be accommodating all the sales process, and the invoice will be, the customer invoice will be billed on the accounts receivable application. Okay. Let us come to human capital management. Since we are focusing on SCM, I'm not going too much into the human capital management, other things. Financial, I'm just giving some brief idea. Next, our focus will be on procurement and supply chain management. But we know that human capital management is one of the important thing, because where we register the users and the payroll. Say any company who is using an ERP, definitely they will be having HCM, human capital management. On a high level, this is to take care of the employees, the users and the payroll to the employees. And similarly, we have something like CRM, customer relationship management, and project portfolio management. Now, our focus in Oracle Fusion SCM demo, as offered by TrioTech software trainings, will be on procurement and supply chain management. So let us see what are the modules offered by procurement as part of Oracle Fusion procurement. We have called purchasing. We will be offering purchasing, self-service procurement, sourcing, procurement contracts, supplier portal. And then when it comes to supply chain management, we see that it involves inventory management, cost management, and order management. Okay, these things are related to order management, as we see order orchestration, global order promising, and shipping and receiving. And further, we also have product data management. So our focus in the future sessions will be on procurement and supply chain management. Okay, so this is the overall product families which Oracle Fusion, this is the main product families, but Oracle Fusion is offering many other product families. But here we are just given a brief of the important product families. Let us go into some details of modules offered as part of Fusion SCM. As we have been saying in the previous slide, whenever we refer to Oracle Fusion SCM, SCM stands for supply chain management. That in turn is having different modules. Product management. What is product management? We know that whenever we deal with items, we need to create that as a code in the system. The item should exist in the system. So product management deals with the items, like item creation. I'm just trying to do a business of procuring some product from outside supplier. That means the supplier will have some specifications. The supplier should know the specifications. Suppose I will just take a small example. Let me take the example of same Airtel. Assume that Airtel want to order for SIM cards. That means Airtel is going to procure SIM cards from a supplier. Now, in that case, what will happen? A SIM card will have some specifications. That means the SIM card should be created as an item in the system. So that is what the product management comes. Product management refers to the creation of item. It has multiple other divisions. We will be seeing in detail in the next demo session. Now, this is just giving an overall picture. Similarly, we have inventory management. Now, I know that many of you have come across the word inventory. Inventory in a general sense, in a layman term, if we talk about inventory, is nothing but management or maintenance of materials. It can be just a moving of the material one place to another, or it can refer to storage of material. So inventory means nothing like how we are going to maintain or manage the materials which a company procured from a supplier. So that is what we refer to as inventory management. Next comes self-service procurement. What is this self-service procurement? We refer to as SSP. Just assume, I'm going to give a small example. Assume that there is a company XYZ who are going to procure some material from a supplier, TaskMac. Assume that I will just go to an Excel just to give an idea. Assume that this is a buying company or buying organization or a buying company. And there is a supplier. Let me give the buying company name as ABC Corporation and supplier is TaskMac. Assume that this is going to buy. That means buy means procure. We interchange these technology, buy or procure. Procure some material from this supplier. Now, usually what will happen whenever an organization is going to buy or procure from a supplier? They will not directly buy. First, they will create some process in procurement called quote or request for quote or quotation. I'm just giving an overall view. Request for quote. This will go to the supplier. Okay, not only this supplier. If there are multiple suppliers, this is assume supplier 1 and this is supplier 2. I'm just taking an example of Amazon. Now, this ABC Corporation want to procure a material. That material is available with both this supplier and this supplier. But what the buying organization or the procuring organization will usually do is they will try to get the quote from both the companies and they will do the analysis. What are the best prices the supplier is going to offer? What are the best terms and conditions they can agree with the supplier? And then they will choose. Either they will go for supplier 1 or they will go for supplier 2. So that is what the procurement organization will do. Now, whenever they decide, assume that in this case, they have decided to go with supplier 1. They have decided to go with TaskMac. Now, what will happen? The next process is this buying organization or the procurement organization will create a requisition. One is a quote. Quote is just to get an idea what is the best price. The next one is they will create a requisition in the system, a request. So once that request is created in the system, then they will convert that into a quote in the system and enter all those details given by the supplier. So when we talk about SSP, self-service procurement, is to create a requisition. Okay, not only requisition, then the negotiation. Negotiation is what we refer to as in ERP terminology, request for quotation. And then we award and we create a purchase order. So the self-service procurement is used to create a requisition and negotiation process, and also it involves sourcing activities. Okay. The next is purchasing. As we clearly see, purchasing means once the buying organization or the organization which had decided the supplier to buy from or procure from, they have to issue a purchase order. So the purchasing model is to issue a purchase order with the agreed terms and conditions to the supplier. And then it will go for the approval within the organization. Once the purchase order is approved, then the purchase order copy will be received by the supplier. So the purchasing module takes care of those activities. And next comes supplier portal. What is supplier portal? When we talk about suppliers, let me give a brief. When we talk about suppliers, there are two types of suppliers. One is offline and another is online. Now, offline means a supplier who don't have access, who does not have access to Fusion. Online suppliers means have access to Fusion. In Fusion, module is supplier. So we call it a supplier portal. Here, no supplier portal. Now, what does this mean? As we have seen the example, assume that each of the stage of negotiation or a purchase order, this online supplier will log into Oracle Fusion and they will respond to these negotiations. That means no need to send any mail, or there is no offline communication record. It will be online because the online supplier will log into a Fusion supplier portal and they will see the negotiations. They will get the invitation for the negotiations to respond. The suppliers will respond. Similarly, whenever a purchase order is finally approved, a purchase order can be seen in the supplier portal. Here, approved purchase order. PO stands for purchase order. Whereas in the case of offline, since the offline suppliers don't have access to the supplier portal, now what will happen? They have to use some offline communication methods. Methods like email, fax. Fax, anyway, it's outdated. Mostly it will be email communication. So what will happen for offline supplier? Whenever a buying organization or procuring organization like ABC Corp is sending a request for quote or quotation to the offline suppliers through email, the offline suppliers have to respond in email what are the best prices and what are the best conditions they can give back. The terms, conditions, prices, etc. will be mailed by the offline supplier to the buying organizations. Similarly, the purchase order, once it is approved and created in the Oracle Fusion system, the purchasing organization or the procuring organization has to send this or share this purchase order to the offline supplier. So that is the main difference when we talk about suppliers, whether our supplier is online or offline. That will decide certain other steps in the Fusion process. Let us go back to the PPT. So that is supplier portal. Sourcing. Next is sourcing. Sourcing is an interface we can call. Like as we were talking about procuring the material or selling the material. Sourcing is an activity which should exist. Then only it's a connecting activity between the procurement, sales, and the supplier. What are the things which has to be set up in the system for sourcing? That means it can be a procurement or procure, or it can be to sell. So this module talks about the sourcing activities. Next is order management. As we see here, the word order management clearly refers to selling. What order management refers to sell. A company who wants to sell the product will go for order management module. That means all the sale orders will be managed in this module and they will send the sales order to the customer. So this is order management module. Now, apart from this, there is an important module which is coming under advanced module in Fusion, that is costing. Why it is important? As we had seen in the previous slide, financial management. At the end of the day, finally, it all boils down to the cost to the company, or what are the business's profit and loss. Now, in order to accommodate those costing details or costing calculations, there is a separate module called a cost management module in Oracle Fusion. That is to take care of costing. That is an advanced module we will see later. Now, if you ask us, what are the things which will go into costing? Accounts payable, accounts receivable, asset management, cash management, general ledger, everything goes into the costing module. Similarly, when it comes to procurement and supply chain, inventory, whenever we deal with inventory, there can be some items which are defined as an inventory item, some are expense items. For example, expense item, it can be a stationery like paper, pen, pencil, stationaries. The company don't want to keep it in their books, they just want to treat it as only expense items. It's an operational expenses. Whereas there are some other items. Assume that the company is buying some raw materials from a supplier. That will be stored in an inventory. That is called an inventory item. So those kind of inventory items have to be costed. Why? Because whenever we are going to buy, a company or a purchasing organization go buy some material, that company is paying to the supplier, and they will make use of this item for their internal process of making maybe a finished goods in the manufacturing industry, and then they will sell it to the customer. Now they want to know at what price the item was bought and at what price the item is being sold. Now all those calculations, the incoming cost and the outgoing cost, everything has to be managed in costing module, which is called Oracle Fusion Cost Management. So that is the purpose of costing module. So similarly for purchasing, whenever we talk about purchase order, what are the costs in purchase order? Just it will not be only the purchasing price. Whenever we are purchasing, there will be other additional costs like a courier cost, or if it is coming from another abroad country, then the port of landing, where the material is arriving at the port, and then this buying organization has to pick it from the port. So there are additional costs like courier, the port of landing cost, those kind of costs. Similarly, whenever we are going to sell a product, there will be other taxes based on the local regions. So those kind of costs will flow into the costing module. Now let us go to the slide of Oracle Fusion SCM technical years. Before this, I just want to give an idea on one important aspect, like how we are seeing some versions mentioned here before Oracle Fusion came, like Oracle e-business suite had their own version. These are called releases. We can see the word 12. 12 means R12, release 12. So like PeopleSoft Enterprise 8.8, 8.9, 9.0. These are the releases related to PeopleSoft. Similarly, JD Rivets has own naming convention, and Siebel CRM had their own name. Similarly, Oracle Fusion is also having their own naming conventions called releases. This is an important topic which we need to understand clearly. Why we are having these releases. Now, as we see here, the releases in Oracle Fusion are happening as part of quarterly updates. Now, whenever we say quarterly updates, It's for 3 months. 3 months make 1 quarter. So here we say that January to March is Q1, quarter 1. Similarly, Q2, Q3, Q4. So what happens January to March, April to June, July to September, October to December. Now, why this is important? As we had seen earlier, the difference between on-premise and cloud. In on-premise, the buying organization will maintain the server and the facilities or the infrastructure. So whenever there is an issue in or a bug, they will raise a support ticket with Oracle support and they will get the patch, but the patch has to be applied by the in-house people. That means the company who are having their own server people, they have to understand, read the importance of patches prerequisites. It's a long process and they have to apply the patch in instance test and then they have to reapply in another instance. Whereas when it comes to Fusion, the advantage is automatically Oracle is sending the quarterly updates in the form of quarters in January to March, April to June. And here we see how we differentiate in which quarter the patch came. We use the terminology A, B, C, D. I'll just open and show in the system. And this also will change. Suppose right now we are in 22, release 22. After few months, and we are at October to December, assume that in between January to March of 2023, when we are getting a release, it will be a subsequent release. Already we are in 22D. So the next expected release will be 23. So it works like this. Whenever an upgrade, what we call it quarterly updates or upgrade is coming, this is auto delivered by Oracle. What will happen is this will not be applied directly on the production instance. Now we also need to understand few things. In any ERP environment, there will be multiple instances. Multiple instances like a development environment. I can say multiple instances bracket environments for easy understanding. One is a development instance. Another one will maybe a test instance. And next production instance or live instance. Popularly referred as prod instance. Now, number of development test instances can vary based on the company. If there is a bigger company who are operating multiple entities and they have a lot of business units and they want to maintain and they want to partition, they might apply for subscription to multiple instances. That means it need not be one development instance. It can be 2 development instances, more than one. Similarly, 2 test instances, but the production instance will be always 1. Now, whenever we are talking about the quarterly updates or the quarterly patches, what Oracle usually does is assume that, just for the sake of easy understanding, assume that an organization subscribed to Oracle Fusion subscription and they have also got 3 different instances. One is the development, a test, and the production. Now, what will happen is these quarterly patches. Now we are in December month. So that means ideally we have already received 22D. Now how Oracle applies is 22D will be applied in the development instance and test instance. And there will be a time gap. This will be done in advance and there will be a time frame before it gets automatically applied in production. Why there is a time delay? Because the company where this acquired this Oracle Fusion product for their business, they have to test thoroughly whenever a quarterly update or a patch has happened. In dev instance or a test instance, they will test, and then in case of a bug, they have to raise a ticket with Oracle support. Now, not only it is a bug, the advantage of Oracle Fusion is new features are also part of these new features or new offerings. Opt-in, we say new offerings, bracket opt-in features. When we go in the next few sessions, we will have clarity. But I can just show you today also. So what is remember new features? Suppose some new feature has come in the industry, which is going to add benefit the client who are using Oracle Fusion product. Then after thorough internal testing, a new feature will be made part of the latest update or the patch. This is all possible in Oracle Fusion Cloud. Whereas if we go with on-premise, the previous cases, what will happen is, since the on-premise is being managed by the company themselves, and they have their own server people to maintain the infrastructure, any new feature, they have to ask and apply the patch. They have to test it. Whereas in the Fusion Cloud, new features will be auto-delivered as part of the patch. Already thorough testing would have been done by the Oracle internal development testing team. They have their own teams. And then only finally the quarterly update will be delivered. So this is the advantage of Oracle Fusion Cloud. One is every quarter we receive patches, which will have not only fixes or bug fixes, we would say, plus new features. So this is the advantage or new offerings. And as we see here, first, those quarterly updates will be installed in the non-production instance. There will be some time given to the clients so that they can do the testing, which we call as a regression testing. After every quarterly update or upgrade, okay, usually the companies will do regression testing. This is just to ensure that the basic flow is working fine. There is no breakage on the flow. Plus, they will also test the new features. Why the regression testing is happening? Basic flow should continue to work without any breakage. Plus, test new features. This is why regression testing is being done by companies. Now, as we are in Q4, that is December month, so we will be already received the 22D patching. Okay, so just if we can go to the system. Now, let me just log in. This is just one of the instance. I'll just log in. Assume that the company had subscribed and they have got the license to use Oracle Fusion. I'll just log out and log in and then show. Let it come, it's slightly slow. Meanwhile, I'll just go to the PPT just to see what all else we need to cover. This we have seen, deployment models, product families. Okay, we are at this stage. Let me check if. Okay. Currently, see, this is a cloud environment which is for demo purposes. Right now, the cloud environment is currently unavailable. Sometimes it happens. Why? Because after the demo environment is just to give demo, but in real time, like as we were saying, whenever there is a downtime to the cloud environment, for a quarterly update, the client or the companies will be told in advance with the dates that the quarterly updates are going to happen, or if there is any unexpected schedule time also, they will be giving a advance notice to the companies that on this specific date, time and hours, the instance will not be available. So just I'm unable to show you now, but let me try after some time. I'll just try to do it one more time. See, the basic thing is whenever a company had acquired a subscription for Oracle Fusion Cloud, they will receive something like a URL like this. Just forget what is a URL. They will usually receive a URL like this. So the company will give this URL to the respective users who will be the end users who will be working on the Oracle Fusion applications. Just we have to open a browser and try to browse to that URL. This is Oracle Fusion Cloud URL. As we were talking about on cloud. So this is what we say. A URL is given by Oracle, and the company who has installed or who wants to use Oracle Fusion, once they purchase the subscription of the specific modules, they'll be provided a unique URLs. This URL, what we are seeing, will be unique to companies. Just they have to log in. Initially, we will get a login screen where the users will log in with their credentials. But as we have been saying, these users would have been created in the Oracle Fusion system using SCM. SCM can be a full-fledged module or it can be a shared module. Assuming that the Oracle Fusion system is completely configured for the client, then once they receive the URL, after full configuration by the consultants, then the users from that respective company can log in to the portal by using this URL. In the next session, I can show this URL. I had an idea just to show the version. Currently, we are in this version. There is no doubt because we have reached December and we are already in 22D. I just before starting this session, I took this from that instance. We are at release 13, 22D. D stands for quarter 4 and 22 is the patch and release is the 13. So that's why we are seeing this. As we see here, we are in 2022 year, release 13. Now let me take it to the PowerPoint. Now, there are two aspects where in any ERP, one will be a functional role and another will be a technical role, right? Now, when we talk about technical areas, usually what are those things? SCM security, security console, role creation. In Fusion, whenever we give access to users, it's not just the user's login will be created in the Fusion system. We just imagine a small scenario. I'll just take an Excel. I'll just go through a small scenario. Assume that in the same ABC Corp, there is a purchasing division. Now in purchasing means we know that there are several modules. I told the SSP for requisition. And there is a purchasing module. I'm just taking for the ease of understanding only 2 modules. Purchasing, this is to create purchase orders. Now assume that there are users. Users I'm just giving X and Y are 2 users. However, the company has decided that the user X will only create requisitions, whereas the user Y is to deal only with purchase orders. So how this can be achieved? Once the users are created in the Oracle Fusion, we have something called roles and security. So using the roles and security, we will be securing the roles which is necessary to be given only to access SSP, that is self-service procurement requisition part alone for user X. Similarly, user Y. If the user Y is going to do only purchase order creations, the user Y will be restricted with roles access and security access and given only appropriate roles to access the purchasing module. And there can be other users. Assume that there is an user, a super user. We call it as super user, SU, super user. Assume that this super user has to have access to all the modules. Then appropriate roles and security access and data access should be given to this user for all modules. Okay. Now this is what we are trying to convey here. SCM security console roles. There is a security console where we create the users and also assign specific roles. Now Oracle Fusion already delivering lot of seeded roles based on the modules. But in real-time projects, we will try to use a combination of both. For some users, we'll give seeded roles. And for some users, we have to create a custom role by copying the seeded role. In some projects or in some implementation, mostly the client will ask a lot of restrictions to the users accessing the Oracle Fusion specific modules. In that case, we have to use this security console, copy the existing seeded roles into a custom role, and then do addition or deletion of roles and privileges. Probably in the next session on Monday or whenever it is being slated to happen. During that time, I will be giving you more insights on the security console roles and the customization of roles to give an idea. Well, let us just focus on what are the other things. Next is workflow approvals and notifications. See, Oracle Fusion is already offering seeded workflows for approvals. Whenever we do any transaction in Oracle Fusion system or in any ERP, we expect some approval should happen. Because if there are no approvals, then there is a chance of misuse by people. There is a possibility that, for example, if I take a small example of a requisition, a request for material is created, and the user, the requester, enters any details into it and then simply clicks on submit. If it gets auto approved, then there is no visibility. So that is one example. Similarly, a purchase order. Purchase order is an important official document to be shared with supplier. Now, if you don't have any approval mechanism in the system, then imagine any information can be entered on the purchase order and shared with supplier, which is not the expected way in ERP. So Oracle is delivering workflow approvals for most of the modules. Like if I take SSP, requisition, negotiation. Similarly, if I take procurement for purchasing is having award there is some concept called award. Everywhere we see approvals. So the main reason of workflow approvals is to have an approval in place so that any document which is created in the system has to get approved by internal users, then only it should go outside of the system to the supplier. Now, in some cases, there can be an requirement from the client that they want to have approval for some process where there is no seeded approval. So in those cases, a customization of approval workflow might happen. So this is one of the area which will be taken care by technical consultants. Similarly, inbound integrations, FBDA. What is FBDA? File-based data interchange. File-based data interchange. Now, what is FBDA? Why we are using? Now, assume that the company has bought Oracle Fusion, but currently they are using some other system. Now they want to move the data, master's data. I'm just taking a small example of a master's data. Whenever we talk about master's data, I'm just giving a small example only from SCM perspective. What immediately comes to us? Like items, suppliers. These are the two important things that comes to our mind. Why we need supplier? Because we need to create and issue a purchase order. Similarly, customers, if you are into sales, and items is anywhere. So these are some of the master's data. I'm just giving a small example. There are many other things. When costing and all is involved, we need to include cost along with the item. So I'm just giving a very simplistic scenario. Assume that a company who has been using legacy software, now they have purchased Oracle Fusion license and for specific modules. And now they want to import their legacy data. Now we have multiple ways to import. Now Oracle Fusion, one advantage is they are offering FBDA, file-based data import. Now what is that is, it is a standard CSV files offered by Oracle for uploading masters. So what we do is the consulting company, as we told, there is a ABC Corp who purchased. Here I will just put ABC Corp purchased Oracle Fusion from Oracle. So here vendor is Oracle, who gave Oracle Fusion subscription to ABC Corp. I'm just putting this as a vendor, Oracle. This is a purchasing organization. I'm just putting in simple terms who purchased organization. The buying organization, I don't want to confuse buy organization, who want to implement Fusion. That is ABC Corp. Now they have subscribed to the license fee, subscription fee for Oracle Fusion. Oracle has delivered and given access. As we told, once we get the access, we will just receive the URL. As we had seen here, one URL will be given to the ABC Corp. But ABC Corp cannot directly give that URL because nothing exists. It's a fresh instance. Now what ABC Corp has to do is, from their legacy system, they have to bring all the masters. When we say masters, like some examples like items, supplier, customers. Now how they will bring? There is an intermediate consulting company like TCS, Deloitte, Accenture, Capgemini, and there are many other partners. And these consulting companies are called partners of Oracle. So this is very important to understand, because these are the words we will be hearing when we go out and in a business scenario or when we are in meetings. So ABC Corp got the license. They purchased the Oracle Fusion product from Oracle vendor. Now there will be another company, consulting company, who are all partners of Oracle, who will be doing the analysis on the legacy system and the Fusion, and they will bring those data into Fusion. So now to import some of the masters, items, suppliers, customers, etc. in Fusion, Oracle is having something called file-based data import. See, when we started initially Fusion, mostly it was done by technical in the initial releases. But now the expectation is even functional people can directly use this, because it's very easy to use tool offered by Oracle as part of Oracle Fusion. And every mapping clearly has a comments what is expected. So what usually the consultants do is, they go to the legacy system, they extract or they get the extracted data from legacy system. They will open this FBDA, file-based data import. This is nothing but a CSV file. Okay, and they will map the columns. Once the mapping is completed based on the legacy data, this tool will generate a CSV file. And then we will be running certain programs in the Oracle Fusion system that will validate And if there are no errors, that will push the record into the base tables. Initially, the records will go into the interface tables from the FBDA file after running certain programs in the system. And then if all are fine, there are no validation errors reported by the program, another program will be run in Oracle Fusion that will fetch the data, master's data from the interface tables and push it to the base tables. We will see all these examples in the later part of our courses. But now the line, there is a thin line. This can be utilized by functional and technical both. Similarly, we have something called outbound integration. Now, what outbound integration we are talking about? The advantage or the why Fusion became famous, Oracle Fusion, because they are delivering something called OTBI, Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence. Okay, OTBI. And then BA, Business Intelligent Publisher. Previously in on-premise, those days, whenever a report has to be developed, we have to approach the technical people. So they have to write a lot of queries to bring those reports and then deploy those reports. But now with Fusion, we are having one wonderful thing called OTBI, Oracle Fusion Transaction Business Intelligence. Now the advantage is, this is like a drag and drop. Even the functional consultants can use this, and not only that, and train the end users. When we say end users, the users who are working for a company called ABC Corp will be working on the day-to-day activities of a procurement or a sales activity. Now, they can be trained how to use OTBI analysis. It's like a drag and drop. There are a lot of functional areas, subject areas for specific modules. They can drag and drop and build a report. So that is what we call as OTBI. And one is using OTBI, another is BIP, Business Intelligence Publisher. Now, in certain cases, it might require complex logic. That means we require help of technical team. So the functional team will just understand the logic from business, and we will share the functional specification design document to technical. So technical will start creating the report. So as we see, even though the slide says Oracle Fusion SCM technical areas, like as I said, FBDA can be utilized by both functional and technical. Similarly, OTBA can be used both by functional and technical, provided the requisite knowledge is there. And in case of complex, maybe integrations or complex report developments, then it will be done purely by technical people. Further, we have something called customization through sandbox or personalization through sandbox. Just want to bring, like, in on cloud, or sorry, on premises, when before Fusion came, most of the customization and personalization were done by technical people. Now in Fusion, see, Fusion is like a cloud available web application, right? So we cannot do a lot of customization, but of course, customizations or personalization can be done, but it will be restricted. But any customization or personalization can be done only by creating a sandbox. Sandbox is a kind of secluded environment where we, for example, if we want to introduce a new field on the page, the field might be hidden when Oracle delivered the Fusion product, but now we want to make it visible to some customer as part of a project requirement. So what we do is we create a sandbox. As we say, sandbox is a secluded environment or restricted environment. We create the sandbox, we make that field visible before we publish and deploy. We use the word publish, not deploy. Before we publish, we want to make sure that it is working. So we just make sure within the sandbox that personalization or customization is visible and working. Once we are satisfied, then only we publish. So that is the purpose of sandbox. Any customization or personalization in Oracle Fusion, if it has to be done, we need to create a sandbox. Once we have access to the system, in the next demo, I can give some basic concept on the sandbox. Similarly, how the roles and security and data access happen in Oracle Fusion. Now, just want to say what are the advantages. And Before this, Kumar, are you there?
Yes, Satish. Sorry, Sujit. I have shared the instance to you, Sujit. You can please check that.
The instance, you mean the instance you shared?
Yeah, you can check it in the email to have the introduction on the instance also for 2 minutes.
Okay, fine. I'll just check my mail. I'm just pausing the recording. So we now have access to another instance. We can see it's a demo instance. So as we were explaining earlier, whenever a company want to implement Oracle Fusion, they would have subscribed to specific modules. And once the subscription is validated, Oracle will be sharing a specific URL. The URL will be unique for instances and also for companies. What we say unique for instances is this was important. We were talking about multiple instances, dev, test, production. So the URL will be unique to the instances, and also the URL will be unique for companies. ABC Corp will have a different URL altogether, whereas another company XYZ will have a different URL. Now, how we are going to log into the Fusion system? We just open a browser and copy paste the URL. And based on the credentials, we will be logging into the system. Once we are successful, it's taking a little time. Another important point to note is the production instance will be always operating at optimum or higher speeds compared to other environments because of higher server spacing and higher data storage capabilities. As we see here, I'm able to log in. Now, as soon as we log in, usually we see the home page. We can see the word vision. Vision is nothing but a demo instance. Now I've just clicked on the home page. Let us see some basics. So this is how the look and feel look. Whenever we log into an Oracle Fusion URL, once the user logs in, we get good morning. Here the username is created like that. Otherwise, it will be like, if it is Ashok Mitra, it will be saying good morning, Ashok Mitra. And here we can see, if we just keep our cursor there, it will give the name of the user. And important point to understand is, we were talking about roles access. Now, this particular user is having access to multiple areas or modules. So that's why this user is seeing a lot of options like sales, procurement. We were just talking about this procurement. And under procurement, we were saying that purchase, requisition, purchase. Now we see here, just to give context, this user is having only purchase requisitions. As we were saying, this example in our worksheet in Excel, there is a company, now they want to restrict few users to access only to requisition. So this is one such example. Once we logged in with a particular user, we can say that this user for procurement having access only to purchase requisitions. Similarly, based on the roles and access, the user will have access to multiple modules. As we were talking about security console, we can navigate to security console by going to tools, and we see security console. This is one way of navigation. Or on the left hand side, we have 3 horizontal bars. This is called as navigator. You see, the moment we keep the cursor, it says it's navigator. We can also navigate by clicking on navigator. Once we click on navigator, system will bring a different menu like this. Now, if I want to go to procurement, just click on, we will know what are the things available for actually instead of procurement. See, you can see the same thing, but this is another way of navigating. Now, if you want to go to security console, we can use the same way. go to Tools, Security Console. Either we can use the navigator or from the home page itself, based on the access given, we can directly click on that specific icon and navigate to the specific work area. Now let us see Security Console. Now this is what we were trying to explain. Whenever it's a fresh instance, the consulting company like Deloitte, Accenture, TCS, etc., they would have collected the legacy data. Another important data is users information, which I did not mention. That is an important data. Users information. Just a moment. Apologies, I had to take a call. So this is just to give overall picture how the Fusion will look once we log in. Anyway, as we are planning for deep dive, demo on all these security console, user accounts, roles, we will see on the upcoming sessions. I know this. We will just remember that as soon as a user logs in, this is how the Oracle Fusion page looks like. On the home page, based on the roles access given to that particular user, different module access can be seen, and the user can click on the specific icon. Let it come. Meanwhile, I will just go. Yeah, it has come. So this is how it looks. But now new features have come. We will explain in the upcoming sessions. Now let me go back to the PPT. Now, why we are choosing TrioTech? See, the main advantage is we are real-time trainers who have worked on multiple implementation projects, upgrade projects, not only on Fusion, even before Fusion, on other ERP projects, on premise as well as now on cloud. So we have real-time experience. That is one advantage. So as we go through different topics, we will also touch upon our experience on specific tasks. What is the expectation from client? How we had some scenarios, how we were able to overcome some situations. So it will be like a real-time scenario specific lectures. Okay. So we will be sharing our implementation experience. And important thing is you will get 24/7 support for the instances and also to the issues which you will be facing as part of your practical sessions. And you will have access to the server. For access and duration, you can check with the admin or Kumar. But the important thing is we will be helping with the placement assistance, and we will also help with interview questions. And all these are also given by others. But important thing is industry experts and real-time experience. That is the one which is keeping TrioTech software trainings apart from others. And we will be sharing all materials which will be given to you people as we progress in the other sessions. So this is the advantage. Kumar, you want to add some additional thing? Because we have come to the conclusion.
Yes, Sujit, thanks for your session today. So basically, team, we are going to offer you, the training timings and all I will be explaining you now, team. Basically, Monday to Saturday, morning 7 to 8, there will be the session timings every day 1 hour. And the duration will be go for 2 months to 2.5 months, and close to 75 hours this program is going to be. And in that, along with the live training, you are going to get video access to the course for lifetime, where you will be, you will be getting the account created in our website, in our LMS website. Every day session will get recorded and it will be uploaded in your course page. You can log in with your credentials and it will be there with you for your lifetime. You can change the password and you can keep it safe. A part of the video access for lifetime, as Sujit mentioned, the latest Fusion Applications server access, the private server access or the dedicated server access will be provided for practicing, where you can practice the end-to-end configurations for this entire 3 months or 4 months of period that what you are practicing on. And then we will be assisting you with the interviews and the placement also team. Like, as we are partnered with some companies, as we are in the long time in the market, many companies will reach us for the trained student profiles with us. So we will be sharing the student profiles whoever trained with us by starting with the resume preparation and conducting the mock interviews, providing the interview questions for each modules and making you ready for the interviews team. So that is also be part of the regular curriculum that what we are going to offer. And the next session or the regular sessions will be starting from Monday. Same meeting link you can use on Monday also at the same time, 7 a.m. you can join the session team. So you can confirm your enrollments by Monday. Whoever want to enroll to this course, you can confirm to me on this number that you can see, that which you are seeing on the slide now, or you can join the session on Monday and you can confirm us, not an issue. Okay. So any questions in today's session? Sujit is here to address your questions, team.
Thank you, Kumar. Are there any queries, further queries?
Yes. For the peer competitors for this course, and what is the difference between Oracle SCM and SAP SCM?
See, we know that every product is different, right? As we just saw that Oracle Fusion SCM is strong in certain areas. And apart from that, if you see, Oracle Fusion adopted the on-cloud technology long back before SAP. Now, SAP, if we ask, SAP is having, they came later into cloud. Most of the things they were on-premise. Now, if you ask about plus and minus, see, there can be many plus in one and another, certain different things which is not available. But why we are here is to focus on the why Oracle Fusion is emerging in the market. See, I have not worked on SAP. Now there are multiple products, but the strength of Oracle Fusion, as we had seen in the initial slides, they have combined all the best products. We just saw in one of the slides, right? They had combined Siebel CRM, JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, and they have merged into Oracle Fusion. So this is the advantage of Oracle Fusion. And if you ask me, like, perception differs. People who worked on SAP, I know, like they have told that Fusion navigation is far more easier. Adoption is easier. But sometimes certain advantages will be with one product. Some advantages will be with another product. So we are not here to compare and say that, because this is a specific session where we want to teach Oracle Fusion SCM module, because the market is wide open and there are many opportunities in Oracle Fusion SCM.
Thank you, Sujit. To add on to the question that Karthik, I think, was asking, see, basically, what your question is, the difference between SAP and Oracle. There are two different products that are available in the market. Let's say you take a mobile phone. Apple is offering iPhone, Samsung is offering their own Samsung mobile, or Lenovo is offering their own mobiles. What is the difference between them? All are mobiles, right? But they are offered by different companies. They are different products. Each product will have their own specific features, specific functionalities like that. Whatever the customer that they want to buy according to his requirement, he will buy the product, like mobile also. Same way, we have multiple ERP products available in the market. One such product that is provided by Oracle is Oracle Fusion Supply Chain or Oracle Fusion Financials, etc. SAP is one company which is providing the product called SAP. Then we have JD Edwards, then we have Siebel, and earlier we used to have PeopleSoft. Now we have Workday, Salesforce. So these all are different ERP products available in the market. So whatever the customer required or whatever that he feel that product is very good for their business, they will buy that one. So Karthik, is your question answered? That is what you were
yes,
expecting.
thank you.
Yeah.
So Vishnu here, I have one question. Do you have the classroom training as well apart this online?
Currently, only online is available, Vishnu. Offline is not available because, as such, we are having the sessions in the morning, 7 to 8. So, people coming to the institute and attending will be a bit difficult. So, as of now, we have no plan of classroom. Currently, it is going to be online. But if you are from Hyderabad, you can come down to the institute and you can practice over there. The lab sessions are everything from morning 9 to evening 6. Institute will be open. You can come down if you want.
Okay. So do you have only this one trainer, or is there multiple trainers available?
For
And
supply
this
chain,
is the
we
only
have,
open.
for supply
Sorry.
chain, we have Sujit. For HCM, I will be taking myself as Kumar. And for financials, we have Mr. Chandu. For each of the course, we have different trainers.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then
Hey,
that's all. Yeah.
Lakshmana here. Just a very quick question.
Mhm.
So